book friends, thanks for stopping by for today's video. Today's video is on the book Only Once by Ashley Munoz. As I sit here, our dog Macy and our new kitten Rue are of course playing in the office with me. They are cruising around. I know I'm gonna have to stop filming at one point because they're playing like crazy. And it's not that big of a room, so they're kind of running all around me. So if you hear stuff in the background, it's them playing. I have done other videos on Ashley's books. I will of course include them in the description box below. And then I've usually been putting the thumbnail up at the bottom of your screen there. I've read all of Ashley's books except for one. It was not purposeful. I thought I signed up to read it and it turned out I guess I didn't. So I have that on my list because let me tell you, I love Ashley's books. And it's exciting to see where her writing is going. I think I can say, and now of course I haven't read Vicious Vet yet, but I think I can honestly say that Only Once is, I think, my favorite book of hers. She actually, her first book, Glimmer, was the first single dad romance that I had read. Shocking, I know. But oh my gosh, I was a sucker for that type of trope from then on. I loved how she wrote Jimmy in that book. So coming back to the single parent type trope, I was excited to read it again from her. Only Once is a second chance single parent romance. The book starts out with Bexley, our female main character. She's a young child. It's the prologue. She's a young child. And I was like, oh, it's depressing and really sad. Let's hope it looks up from here. And Bexley is a single mom. She has two kids, Cole and Belle. Oh my God, those kids. I just fell in love with them right along with their mom's love story. So sweet. Ashley excels at writing the single parent with kids story. Bexley has a day job and she's taken a second job at night to help pay for the bills. She's not with the kid's dad. They were in a committed relationship for several years, but she just could never marry him. He asked her 3 times, but something held her back. Unfortunately, he eventually became a total jerk, came home one day and was like, yeah, this is my girlfriend, I got her pregnant. So basically he cheated on her and he's like, and I'm leaving. And he leaves her with the kids and goes and starts this new life with the new girlfriend and the new kid and has kind of forgotten about his other kids. He doesn't show up. He hasn't been paying child support. All of that part of the story really broke my heart because that kind of stuff's happening everywhere. And I don't understand that. And I'm not saying it's only men that do that. I'm sure there's plenty of women that do that as well, but that really frustrates me. I felt connected to Bex right away. She's easy to connect to. I'm a mom, she's a mom. I was her age once. I had small kids once, a long time ago. They're not so small anymore anyway. And so I really liked her. She's easy to like and to root for. I wondered where Ryan was going to come in. We know, because we get dual perspective in this book, that he is going to be her love interest. And it turns out at this second job that she has, Ryan has come to stay there. Ryan was her college sweetheart, the person she planned her future with. They fell completely in love, but as I just talked about, they did not end up staying together. Ryan played football in college and had his sights on going pro. He's always wanted to do that. He's built his whole life around that. That is a big part of him. And him having his sights on something else and Bexley feeling like she was second choice is a big part of them. It's something that he never really understood. We know that Bex has this carried over from her childhood feeling of being second best and nobody choosing her first. So Ryan always having this goal and this eye on the prize of going pro was an issue because he didn't realize that he was putting her second until he did. They have a situation that arises between them, and it's a surprising situation. I'm not going to give it away. And he reacts poorly, leaves. And she's like, oh my God, she's kind of dumbstruck because she's like, how is my love treating me this way? And it flares that insecurity that she has from her childhood. She's like, I'm not sticking around. I don't need him. I can be my first choice. I'm done. And she leaves. Oh my God. Like, I got it. I understood her. We get a little bit more about that through the book. And something I loved about this book and their story is the work that they do. The process that they go through when they get back into each other's lives, and I wasn't sure if I liked Ryan, but the process that they go through is so meaningful and needed to be done. And Ashley goes there with these really meaty feelings and issues and things that they have to work through. And that's my favorite kind of story. I love when the books feel real. And let me tell you, if I was Bex and my husband was Ryan and this was our life, these were exactly the things that we were going to have to work through and solve if we were to move forward in our lives. So I really liked all of that. Turns out that Ryan has left football. He had a career-ending injury and has now become this major Hollywood actor. He's come back to town to visit his parents, and Bex happens to live around the same area with her kids, and he's staying at the resort that, lo and behold, Bex works at. He's not staying with his parents because he's bringing his, I want to say the word and it's terrible. I try not to use the F word on my channel, but it's the F word buddy. You know what I mean? And she's not really invited to his parents' house, and that's kind of okay. She's just there she's just taking up space in his life, but it seems like on the up and up. Like, she knows it and he knows it. So his parents are like, yeah, no, you're not going to bring that around us. And he respects that. So they're staying at the resort together. And that's where he runs into Bex again. He did some things that I wasn't sure I was going to be able to recover from. And I wasn't sure I wanted Bex to recover from. But he realizes that he was kind of a jerk and he tries to make it better. It was pretty early on that I was like, am I going to root for them as a couple and want them to work through things and have their love story? Or was I just going to be on Bex's team and the kids, and if that made her happy, I was going to be okay with that? You know, there's two different ways that I feel like a book can go in my world. I love the couple, and I want them to make it through, and I want the love story to be complete for them. And then there's the books that I read where I'm like, okay, I connected with the female character because, as I've talked about, it's easier for me to do that. We have more in common usually. And then the male characters have to work for it more. And sometimes they work really hard and I love them. And sometimes it's fine and I'm just happy that she's happy at the end. If that makes any sense. Oh my gosh, you can't see, but the kitten is sitting right here. Should I pick her up and show you guys? There she is. Say hello. She's so cute. She's so lovable. She is purring. I wish you could hear her. She's full of the dickens though, let me tell you. It's interesting having a kitten again. Oh, and we're gonna have a little bit of snuggles. Isn't she cute? Okay, I'm gonna put her down now. Okay, baby. I always love to share passages with you and dialogue that I really liked, and this is from Bex's perspective, and it made my heart hurt a little bit. Ryan made a sound off to my right, but I couldn't see his face, which was better. He made it sound like he wanted us to stay, but I knew he didn't, not really. Whatever his fascination was with us, it would fade. He had movies to make and models to date, and we were just some experiment he was trying on for size during his vacation. So she's trying to be the realist and thinking there's no way that I have anything that he would want again. And she does. There is this really sweet relationship that develops between Ryan and Bex's kids, Cole and Belle. I loved, and this is where I started coming around to Ryan, because Ashley wrote it so organically. And I actually used the word, I messaged her and told her how much I liked the book. And I actually used the word, it wasn't smarmy, if that makes any sense. It never felt forced. The way she wrote it was just effortless. And I just soaked it all up. I adored all of the interactions that he had with her kids. Okay, and now the kitten is eating, so if you hear her chewing, I'm sorry. So there's a scene in the book where Bex and the kids are at his villa at the resort. They've had a great night. They've done some fun stuff, hung out together. The kids have fallen asleep, and he's like, just stay the night. And she's like, no, this is not a good idea. I loved her strength and her kind of putting her foot down with him, in that she's like, I'm not sleeping here. We're so F-buddy was just here with you. I'm not going to sleep in your bed with you, let alone the physical interaction that she wasn't ready for. Intimacy, I should say, that she wasn't ready for with him. I mean, she wanted to, of course, but she's like, nah, we can't go there yet. And she's like, you probably all over the house here, and I'm not comfortable with that. And I was like, damn straight, girl. This is from her perspective. Ryan, the couch is great. I gripped his wrist and squeezed it before letting it drop. She sat down there too, you know, even fell asleep on it once if you're going to be all technical about not sleeping somewhere Henna slept. He crossed his arms, making his biceps pop. Ignoring how good he looked, how tanned and toned, I closed my eyes, blinking away the image. The issue isn't where she sat or slept. The issue is where she slept with you, probably in little to no clothing. I shook my head, gaining steam for this conversation, because it was probably best that we had it. Look, I get it. Your life is fun and full and exciting. You aren't tied down to anyone. I know you have multiple F-buddies you keep on deck for when you're ready to change it up, but I'm not that kind of girl. I never have been. I'm not judging you for it. You clearly are, he snapped, interrupting me. I'm not. I just want you to understand that I have to toe this line. He searched my face for something before dropping his voice to a whisper. Why do you need to toe it? Why do you care? And who says I even care what kind of girl you are? I'm not trying to date you. I closed my eyes tight, pushing past the sting of hearing him say that. I knew he wasn't. Deep down, I knew hanging out with me and the kids was just some strange phase he was in. The ex-girlfriend, single mother, he was trying it out, but he wasn't here to stay. I dug deep for the courage to say what I needed to. We aren't anything to each other, so it doesn't matter. Trust me, I know you aren't trying to date me. I narrowed my gaze. I stepped closer to him, needing him to truly hear me. I have to toe that line for the girl who once planned a future with you, the one who loved you so intensely, so fully, she had an entire Pinterest board full of wedding ideas, future house plans, and kids' names. She's still in there somewhere, and she'd never let me sleep in the same bed as one of your ex-lovers. Heck yes, Bexley, yes! And then a little while later in the book, not too much after this, I just loved the way Ashley peeled back Ryan's layers and started to make me like him. I mean, his interactions with the kids, like I said, was definitely working for him. But this, oh my gosh. And this is from Ryan's perspective. The driver's side door silently opened, and as Cole ambled out of his, Bella started unbuckling, then Ryan was at her door picking her up. The sight of her little arms wrapped around his neck felt like someone's fist was repeatedly pounding against my chest. They fit together so seamlessly, and she already loved him so earnestly. I wondered if he felt that way too. Oh my God, it was so sweet. There were some parts in the book where I got teary. I mean, they're not like particularly like sad or whatever parts, but they're just parts that touched my heart so much. And what happens after that passage is that they go to borrow some camping equipment because they're going to go camping. Ryan's going to take them camping. Oh my gosh. And so they go to his parents' house to borrow the camping equipment. And all of that happened at his parents' house, oh, it just touched my heart so much. And then they go camping. Oh my gosh. There were times where I was frustrated during that camping trip. I was teary in the camping trip. I wanted to go camping and I hate camping. So I loved all of that. And it was where I really like dug in with my feelings with him, and I felt like they were safe with him in a way that I needed them to be. This is from Ryan's perspective, and it's when they're on the camping trip. My eyes zeroed in on Bexley. She was wearing an aqua bikini top, shoving the proof of what I'd just been pondering in my face. She was more complete now, her body adapting to motherhood, those luscious breasts fuller than I ever remembered them being. I unabashedly let my eyes wander down her flared hips and dipped navel, all the way down to those legs that seemed to go on forever. I wanted to get closer to look to see if she bore any stretch marks, anything that was different now than what I remembered about her. As I drew closer, it felt like a punch to the gut as I caught her mid-laugh, that smile bright and warm, her eyes alive and full of possibilities. I watched, hoping my lust-soaked gaze would sear into her skin, into every crevice she tried to hide away from me. I hoped she knew she had split me open and I'd never recovered. It hit me as painful as a bullet to the chest when I realized I didn't want to. Ah, there is definitely enough drama in this book to keep you on your toes, to keep your heart beating faster. There is definitely a heat level that I am not used to with Ashley that I really liked, and they certainly had chemistry. And best of all, we do get a happily ever after at the end of this book. Let me know if you have read Only Once, or which of Ashley's other books you've read and which one is your favorite. While you're here, I would love for you to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe. When you do that, YouTube will let you know the next time I upload a video, and it will also help this video get shown to more people here on YouTube. I always welcome you to come over to my social media, which is, oops, there's the dog. I always welcome you to come over to my social media, which is Kat Reads Romance on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye.